Hi everyone, this is Mass Confessionals, and I'm back with a confession, but a very long one. So, grab your popcorn, grab your drink, because we're definitely going to talk today. And the topic of today are boundaries. And I'm going to show you something really cool. If you guys are familiar with tarot, you've definitely seen this card before. The Magician. And this is part of the topic and the subject that we're going to be talking about today. The Magician. Upright, which means in this position right here. When it's upright and it flies out of the deck upright like this, it can signal action, creation, manifestation, power, self-confidence, clarity, willpower, skill, and creativity. It's associated with, when it's upright, it's also associated with the description. You see how he's wielding it up, like the Statue of Liberty? Wielding power. This is wielding power, you guys. Every time you assert your boundaries, this is what it looks like. He's standing tall and straight. Straight but not stiff. And he's wielding his victory. This is what it's about. This is what asserting your boundaries feel like. Now, sometimes, depending on what's going on in your life, it will come out upright. It will fly out of the deck upright. When your cards come out like this, you need to pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on in your life. In terms of boundaries, upside down, manipulation, poor planning, untapped talents, insecure, lack of confidence, and narcissism. Now we know narcissists love to test boundaries. And this is what I'm here to talk about today. Okay, because you need to have boundaries to make it in this world. I don't care what people say. Boundaries should be considered a life skill. You know, society teaches us how to focus on preparing us for the world, school especially, preparing us for jobs. But they don't teach financial literacy. Why? Because it's designed to keep you stuck. Because if you learn that money, it's not just about getting rich. You have to learn to stay rich. They don't teach you that though. Because if you did, there wouldn't be a lot of people broke right now. The credit card companies wouldn't be making money. Insurance wouldn't be making a lot of money. They profit off of denying your health insurance. They profit off of you spending money, which is why if you have excellent credit, they keep sending you more credit cards. So you can keep spending more and more. I don't care what you say. You could be the richest person in the world. You should not have more than 2 credit cards. The max, 2 credit cards. This is how you get in debt fast. Selfishness is an act of self-love. Because it's self-love. You hear the self? It's called the self for a reason. A lot of the times, people who have really high self-esteem or have grown up and now have confidence that is unshakable usually came from ground zero, myself included. They have built themselves from the ground up. And I want people to know that saying, self-esteem isn't built in a vacuum, means self-esteem isn't built overnight. Because me, Mass Confessionals, have struggled with boundaries her entire life. Okay? I'm now at a place where I trust my instincts. I trust my inner knowing. And I trust that when I assert my boundaries, that it's the right thing for me to do. Self-esteem isn't built overnight, especially if you come from a home that did not prioritize learning how to assert yourself, teaching you how to love yourself, especially women out there, boundaries and standing up for yourself, confidence. I hate to break it to you. You're going to have to learn the hard way, especially when you come into contact with the world, because not everybody is like you, right? Not everybody is going to respect your boundaries. And when you meet somebody, especially when it comes to men, and men, because it happens to men, I'm not biased here, I'm not sexist, when you come across a manipulative woman, you're really going to learn what the world is like. Especially if you have no experience with women. Oof. You're going to get burnt a couple times. But that's just part of it. You're going to have to get burnt a couple times for you to learn. And when you meet somebody, everybody got a plan for you. I'm telling you. Especially if they got ulterior motives. When you don't know how to protect yourself, if you have zero self-esteem, you're going to have to go through some fucked up shit in order to learn. If you don't have the guidance, because maybe someone didn't teach you how to stand up for yourself, if you didn't learn how in the household, in your environment, then how the fuck are you going to know what to do when that situation comes up? Which is why they say, any promises that you keep to yourself, another tip, you need to keep them. Stop breaking your promises. Do not make promises that you cannot keep. Because when you break your promises, you're breaking honor within yourself. Because every single time that you try to do something new, or you're saying you're going to do something, that little voice inside of you creeps up and says, sit down, shut up, you're never going to do anything you've always been saying. How long have you been saying that? You've been saying the same thing for years, and every time you say you're going to do it, you never get around to it. Guilty. You gotta be honest with yourself. Have you made promises you can't keep? Even to yourself. That's another reason why you have low self-esteem. Because you don't say what you don't do what you say what you're gonna fucking do. Which is why it's so important to not procrastinate. Be willing over willful. I know it is hard, trust me. I still have that habit to this day. And it's like working a muscle. It's like learning to sit with yourself and meditate. It's like learning to do yoga. It's like going to the gym. It is not going to happen overnight. But you have to be willing to do the work and walk the journey and walk the step every day by day and have discipline. People out there with perfect bodies, do you think they just have perfect bodies just because? They do the work. They wake up at 5 a.m. They watch what they eat, and they get themselves to a gym. They don't just go for a couple days and then stop going. They are consistent. And that's very important. As long as you're consistent, you're going to get to where you want to be. And it's the same thing with self-esteem. If you want to have high self-esteem, not just physical, because everybody's focused on the physical. You want to have good, high, healthy self-esteem, a healthy relationship with yourself, then you have to do the work. It is not going to be easy. Nobody said it was. But your fucking life will change for the better. You will be happier. Life will be a little bit easier. Because you know how to say no. You have to know how to say no in this fucking world to make it. I'm serious. And I speak with passion because I've been through this my whole entire life, you guys. And now I can speak from experience because I have been through it. I have been there, trust me. And it wasn't fun. It sucked. I was miserable because I always fucking said yes to things when I really meant to say no. You know what? I couldn't really be mad at other people. I could only be mad at my fucking self. And that's a sign that you're not respecting your boundary. You're not respecting yourself. If you say yes when you really mean no, you're lowering your self-esteem day by day. When you fucking do a disservice to yourself, to your fucking needs, cross your own fucking boundaries, you are destroying yourself. And I'm not angry, guys. I'm speaking with passion. Being passionate about something doesn't mean you have to be angry. because I've been through it. And you can't talk about somebody who's been there. It's the same thing with self-esteem. You have to know how to protect yourself. Boundaries are about you. And they are an extremely essential life skill. It's an essential life skill for anyone to have, because you are going to come across people who will test them, believe me. And you have to know how to protect yourself. Not everyone's going to respect your boundaries. Not everybody comes from the same environment or home as you. If you came from a home that wasn't as loving, you're going to have to work maybe twice as harder than someone who grew up in a loving home. This is easier said than done. And I just want anybody to know who's struggling with their self-esteem, who are weak, who are vulnerable, do something that makes your self-esteem go up every single day. I continue to do it. It is a progress. Even when you feel like you're done, you're never going to be done, because these things are always going to come up. And you're always going to come across someone who's going to try to take advantage of you. And every single time that they try it, that is your opportunity to practice your own self-love and boundary setting. And we all keep focusing on the physical. No, it first starts in here. The work starts inward. If you know you have trouble asserting yourself, you need to get help. I'm serious. Because sometimes we cannot do it on our own. Sometimes we need a mentor. Sometimes we need someone to guide us like a therapist. Do what the fuck you have to do. Because I always say there's nothing wrong with getting therapy. Nobody is beyond help. Get coaching. Do something. Do what you need to do, because people out there will test you, and they will test your boundaries and have no remorse and no shame. Why? Because there's people who are used to being in control. They're used to crossing people's boundaries. That's how they get power. They derive power from controlling and stepping over people. And let's say maybe it's happened a million times with you in relationships, friendships, whatever. And then maybe next time it happens 1,000. Maybe next time, the more you continue to practice, it happens 5 times, 3 times, and then maybe it only happens 1 time. And then the more you learn, the more you practice, the easier it will be. And another thing is, don't feel guilty. If you feel guilty about your asserting yourself, because you know what, maybe you've grown up in a home that wasn't safe for you, and your nervous system has learned to interpret danger, that maybe if I assert myself, something bad is going to happen. Maybe if I assert myself, they're going to be mad at me. You know what? Fuck their feelings. And I'm going to break it down, because I don't mean literally. What I mean by fuck their feelings is because sometimes when we're learning how to assert boundaries, it could sometimes get a little excuse me. It could get a little murky, right? Muddy waters. Sometimes we can't find a middle ground between being too nice, too submissive, or too lenient, and too harsh. And you know what? That's okay, because that's part of the learning process. My advice to you is be polite, but be firm. Say what you mean and mean what you say, especially in your tone as well. Be serious. Don't be too nice, but don't be too harsh when you're asserting yourself. Be firm and stick to your guns. That is what I mean. When I was going through this, and it's still something that I'm working on. It's like working a muscle, right? Like I said, when you go to the gym, you work out, you feel all of these muscles that you've never felt before. It's going to be hard at first. You're going to feel triggered. Something inside of you is going to get triggered when you perceive something as a threat or something that is dangerous. That may not be dangerous at all, but your mind perceives it that way, your nervous system, because that's all you know, right? And that's your pattern. But you know what? That old wound and that pattern is probably always going to come up. You have to accept that. However, it's the way you choose to handle it and deal with that situation will tell you everything you need to know. If you handle that situation beyond your old patterns, maybe before, if someone was telling you to do something, you would freak out and just give in. But if you freak out this time around, and also stick to your guns, and don't give in, you stand by what you say, and you mean it, you say what you mean what you say, that is real change. That is real growth. That is learning in progress, a work in progress, and be fucking proud of yourself, because I know that shit ain't easy. And when I say fuck their feelings, I'm not saying be mean. I'm not saying hurt people's feelings. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is when it comes to your needs, certain things that you want, that you need, that is important to you, you cannot hold back. A need is a need. Want is not the same as a need. A need is essential. Need is like needing water. Need is like needing a roof over your head. It's a non-negotiable. You cannot hold back. And you cannot care about what other people think. Because you know what? You are not responsible for someone else's feelings. I'm going to say it again. You are not responsible for someone else's feelings. I'm going to say it louder for the ones in the back. You are not responsible for someone else's feelings. Fuck their feelings. Whenever you start thinking about what they think, what they're going to think, fuck their feelings. What is important to you? That's your fucking problem. You're thinking about everybody fucking else. Everybody else gets what they want except for you. But I'm sure as hell, they have no problem asserting their needs to you. And you just take it. No. If they be mad, that is a personal problem. That is a 100% their problem. You have every fucking right to say what it is that you need and want. You have every fucking right to feel heard, to feel seen, and to feel respected. That is a basic non-negotiable. That is the basic thing you could ever give someone is respect. Everybody deserves respect. Because you know what? I want to tell you something. Real healthy people will step back. They will respect your boundaries. If they really care about you and care about the relationship that you have or are trying to build, whatever your situation is, they will fall back and respect you. And you know what? They probably won't even feel some type of way. And if they feel some type of way, that is someone with ulterior motives or has problems with their ego or problems with people standing up for themselves. It gets easier every single time. But don't shame yourself. Don't feel like I'm improving because I'm not supposed to feel some type of way. Let me let you in on a little secret. The most strongest people you know, the most assertive people you know, have a hard time saying no. Yes, bosses say no to you all the time. Bosses say no to their employees all the time. Interviewees reject people all the time. No, it's not a fit. No. Because I said yes to every employee, this fucking place would be a mess. Maybe things wouldn't get done. I'd have all types of people working here, right? And you don't want that. So always don't take that personal. Rejection is protection. They know what person they had in mind when they hired them. So it's never personal. And that's why people that you are trying to protect yourself from should not take it personal either. Because it's not about them. It's about you. It's about your comfort level and your needs. And if they get upset about that, red flag. They should not be taking it personal. Everybody has needs. It's not easy to tell people no. There's people out there who tell people no all the time. If we could say yes to everything, we'd live in a fucked up world. People would be getting screwed over left and right. Boundaries are your protection. I'm not saying to hurt their feelings. I'm saying put yourself first. Who cares what they think? Because when it comes to asserting yourself and laying down the law, you cannot hold it back. And you have to nip it in the butt early. That's also very important. Don't let it get to 3 times, 4 times, 10 times. You have to stop it early. Any sign of disrespect, yank them by a leash. People like that, manipulative people, abusive people, narcissistic people, they're like dogs. And I'm not talking about our furry friends. You know, I love dogs. I'm an animal person. I'm talking about the real life human dogs that are disrespectful and that don't know how to fucking treat you. You gotta put a fucking leash on them early and keep them on a nice tight leash. And what I mean by that is, if they say even one fucking thing that pisses you off, that's it. If your non-negotiable is cheating, you look him in the eye. One shot, one deal. You cheat one time, you're out of here. I'm not standing for it. Because you ruptured up 15, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years of marriage because you couldn't fucking keep it in your pants. Especially if you're a good woman or a good man and you're good to that person, you worship that person at their feet, and they have the audacity to cheat on you. They couldn't even fucking keep it in their pants for even one fucking night. 1 week in Fatal Attraction, everybody? Absolutely not. You made that decision. It was a choice. It was not a mistake. You made that choice. You could have been doing anything else. But you decided to open your legs. Or you decided to whip out the thing that you think with downstairs. It's not a mistake. A mistake is letting the laundry run too long. Forgetting to flush the toilet. That's a mistake or a habit. But cheating is not a mistake. It is a choice. So you draw the line and you nip it in the bud early. Okay? Because if you don't, this person is in agony. This person is up at night. And I'm sure that's a lot of you now, or were a lot of you in the past. Those things that keep you up at night, those are demons, those are nightmares. Those are the nightmares of all the times that you did not assert yourself. This person is up at night. Why did I let them run over me? Why did I say yes when I really meant no? And then over time, you continue to let it happen. And then sometimes happens. Death. Whether it's mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, and sometimes physically. That's why boundaries are so important. Trusting your instincts is so important when somebody's fucking you over. Because that person could be the very person ending up taking your life. Because you didn't stop it early. And I'm not trying to scare you guys, but this is real life. Treat your boundaries like your life depends on it. This is how you should treat yourself. This is how you should value yourself. It's either life or death. It's either you or me. If I say yes, I'm choosing you over me. If I say no, I'm putting myself first. And then you know what happens? You attract someone that's not only half of you, but is also as whole as you are now. This is completeness, the Two of Cups, an equal. Completeness creates. Never forget that. And then sometimes, if you're not interested in getting with anybody, sometimes high self-esteem, real self-love can look like this. This is the Three of Cups. You see how these people here are cheering, saying cheers, giving a toast, celebrating? This is what it feels like when you learn to finally love yourself and stand up for yourself. Doesn't that look wonderful? But when you deal with people like this, you see how this guy is looking over? You see how he's looking shysty and sneaky? That's because he is. Disagreements, conflict, winning at all costs, sneakiness, bullies, theft, and abusive relationships. Continue to deal with people like this, or like this, sneaky, conniving, bullshitters, motherfuckers. You're gonna end up like this, or even worse, like this, every single time. Do not let it get this far. Men and women, you have to be like the High Priestess. The High Priestess knows her shit. She's the High Priestess for a reason. Intuitive. This stands for intuition, sacred, knowledge, the subconscious, divine feminine, trusting yourself, sensitivity, purity, and high morals. She sits at her throne like a queen because she is a queen, or you are a king. You sit at your throne because you are a king, and you assert yourself like a king or queen. The queen or a king is not going to be a king or queen without learning how to stand tall and be regal and strong. When you finally get to that place, you finally learn, even though you're still struggling, this is you. If you don't stop it early, that's how people continue. And they'll keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it until you explode, until you can't take it anymore. And even by then it's too late, because they don't respect you anymore. They don't respect you at all. And at that point, they'll just move on to somebody else because they're done with you. Because you won't let them take advantage of you anymore. Don't let it get that far. You teach people how to treat you. And if they can't treat you right, let them walk away or you fucking walk away. I'm not saying to go after everybody that triggers you or lay down the law with everybody that triggers you. What I'm saying is pay attention to how it's making you feel. Assess the situation. Think about it first. Like this. This guy is in hibernation. He's simmering. He's festering. But he's thinking. He's in hibernation hermit mode. Okay? This is what you have to do. Whenever you get triggered and you're still in that learning progress, be like this guy. Think. Don't act. Think before you do things. Don't be impulsive. Think about how it's making you feel. Assess the situation first and then decide what's necessary. Do I lay down the law? Do I draw the line in the sand? Do I just leave it be? And if they keep pushing it and doing things to really piss you off, that is the right time to act, in my opinion. For example, maybe they call you in the middle of the night while you're trying to sleep, and you don't like that, and you have to be up early in the morning. Maybe you don't want them coming over to hang out all the time. Maybe you need your space. Maybe you don't want to hang out at all. You want to protect your peace. You're an introvert. If they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it, they're disrespecting you. First time, okay, depending on the situation. Second time, say something. Third time, that's too many times. It's better to nip it at the first time. Let them know. Lay down the law. It only hurts you. And when you become, again, like this guy, a magician, and something beautiful is waiting for you on the other side. A real, confident you. You become the fool. You just see how just hopeful the fool is. Just dainty, la 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 la. You can have this. This is possible for you. But you really need to treat your boundaries like your life depends on it. Because without them, you're porous. You're susceptible to anybody and vultures around you. And believe me, you don't want vultures around you. You want good, healthy, strong people around you who also know how to assert their boundaries, even with you. And it won't even bother you anymore because you know what? You're like, shit, I see you. Real recognize real. I'll do the same shit. Be the fool. You will get there. If you're consistent and committed to your growth, you will become the fool. I'm going to close out by saying, boundaries set, energy protected. I said what I said, and I survived it. I choose myself. Peace feels better than people pleasing. And on the other side of fear is self-respect.